Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about something that happened about a year ago today. It actually was with my youngest daughter. I was out in the shop working and Stephanie had just come out here to tell me something. And about that time we heard Braylee coming out, our youngest daughter, screaming. Well, when she comes out, she looked like she had grapefruit juice that was spilled on her. So she is crying, but she wasn't crying as she was tremendously hurt. And so I pick her up and I smelled to see what the wet was, and I smelled coffee. Well, that's what brings us to this Krager. I would have never dreamed this ear could get hot enough to actually burn the skin. Now I know, but at the time I did not realize it. So what had happened was Kayson, my youngest boy, he always follows me in the kitchen, and I get coffee in the morning, and then I go back in the living room, sit down in my recliner, and drink a cup of coffee and get on with the day. Well, Kayson just didn't follow me every morning. He was watching what I was doing. So he wasn't necessarily doing it to hurt anyone. He actually got up in the cabinet, got a coffee cup, and pushed the button, and it filled up with water, means that water stays in it. And after it filled up, he took it and went and set it on my table. Well, Braylee had just got to the age where she was starting to pick up things and drink out of cups and stuff. Well, she had seen the cup, she picked it up, and once she turned it up, obviously I'm assuming it burnt her lips and put her in shock, and then the whole cup just poured all over her. Which I'm fixing to show you some pictures of it. And I guess the main thing of this video is, if you have one of these, get it out of the reach of your children. Don't make the mistake I did. This was very, very crazy. This could have been preventable. And then I don't know if it's just me or if it's just law enforcement officer or people in the medical field, but when your child is hurt, I don't know what to do. I panic. I'm immediately trying to call 911. I just really don't know what to do. So I guess that's just, I don't know if it's just me or if that's everyone. But anyway, so after we figured it out, I picked her up and I put her in the car and then rushed her over to the hospital. And once we got her inside the hospital, the blisters had already started forming. Well, they end up shipping her to OU Medical Center in Oklahoma City, and Stephanie actually rode in the back ambulance with her, and then I followed them up there to go to the burn care unit, which they told us that she had second and third degree burns on her chest and then underneath her arm. But luckily, thank God, that she has made a full recovery without any scars. Luckily, it didn't get in her eyes, or that would have been a bad deal. But, you know, it was just crazy to know that this right here did this to that little bitty girl. I would have never dreamed this would have got hot enough, but it did. And like I say, for this video, I just ask, if you have one of these, put it up. Don't make the mistake I did. But on this day was probably one of the scariest days of my life, especially when it comes to my kids. I've never had a child hurt that bad, and to know that your child's sitting there crying and you can't do nothing to help them, it's really painful. It really is. And like I say, these photos, she recovered fully. So now, so what's coming up in the future for our channel? For one, we're starting to work on some of our pens to actually start getting some animals, and then just trying to interact and get animals and have the kids learn responsibility. It's been a great year for us. We're hoping for 2020 to be an awesome year. pictures looked pretty bad. It took a couple months for her to finally heal completely, and where it wasn't hurting her anymore. For about 2 or 3 weeks, Braylee was in quite a bit of pain. Just thank God she was able to heal 100% without any scars. That would have been terrible. So, but here's the deal. That wasn't our last visit to the hospital on this month. Kayson actually is outside, and he actually gets stung by a wasp. And we don't realize it, but he ends up being allergic to the wasp. So we have to, his hand ends up swelling up extremely big. And we have to take him into the ER, and they end up giving me some medication to try to get it go down. The medication didn't work at first, so they ended up giving me some other steroid packs to make it eventually go down. And now we actually carry a EpiPen with us now everywhere we go. So if he does get stung, we can go ahead and hit him with that pen. It's supposed to keep him from having an allergic reaction or something like that. But like I say, with the kids, you just never know what's going to happen. And me being a law enforcement, like I said, I don't know if it's just me or if it's all law enforcement officers or in the medical field, but when something happens to one of my kids, I panic, I lock up, and I don't know. I'm all about calling 911 or get them to the hospital. But in my line of work, I do it every day. I go into houses with people unresponsive, just all kinds of stuff like that. Now, I have no issues, but when it comes to my kids, I vapor lock, and I actually forget all my training. So we have 4 kids, and we spend a lot of time at the emergency room, it seems like, which, you know, me, I don't want to ever take a chance, especially if one of them falls off the bed or you know, roughhousing in the room and bump heads. I'm extremely cautious with my kids, just because, I mean, I've seen something real small turn into something real big, and you know, if they'd have went to the hospital, they'd have been fine. So I just try to be super overcautious and always take them to the hospital and make sure everything's right, because like I say, all my training goes out the window when it comes to them. I'm sure if you have kids, you know what I'm talking about. But so if you're just joining this channel, it's a family channel. I do woodworking, obviously interact with kids and family. I'm in law enforcement, so it's got some law enforcement stuff in it, but we would love for you to subscribe to our channel and support us and like and share and all that good stuff.